Hello and welcome. In this video, I will provide a demo of the Project Manager Excel template. This template is available from inzara.com. This is what the template will look like. And in this case, I have entered some sample information or some dummy data so we can demonstrate the features of the template. But when you download your own version, it will be empty so that you can start entering your own information. We begin with the settings sheet where we enter basic information about the project, start date, end date, name and description of the project. And then we provide information on the resources that are available and also when they are available. So for example, here I have 4 resources listed and I have provided information on which weekdays they're available, how many hours are they available, and also the cost per hour for each of the resources. Then we provide information on whether the company works all 7 days, or if they take a day off, then you can use that information here. Then the template will not schedule any tasks during those days. Similarly, company holidays, if there are any days where the company will not be working at all, then you can provide that information there. Finally, the resources can individually take personal leave, and you can provide those dates for each resource here, and the template will again take that into account when scheduling the tasks. So that's all we do in the settings sheet. Then we move on to the task sheet where we will enter information about the tasks associated with the project. We can have up to 200 tasks, and the first 4 fields are the required fields. All the other ones are optional. So task ID, give a unique number to each task, give a name to each task, and assign the task to one of the resources that you have. And in this case, the drop-down list shows the values that are the resource names that we entered in the settings sheet. Then we enter the number of hours each task will take. And then this calculated field, which provides information on whether the task will complete or not, will get updated. In this case, we can see that 4 of the tasks will complete, but the 5th one will not. And the name of the task will also be highlighted with the red border, and this indicates that this task will not complete. And this is great instant feedback to you as you're planning your project. You will know that your project will not complete because this task will not be completing. In order to take action, you can just try to assign this task to another resource and then see, assuming that that resource can perform this task, you can change the resource assignment and then see if the task can complete or not. In this case, it did. So that's how quickly you can improve your plan to make sure that it completes. The other fields in this sheet are optional. Let's take a quick look through it. Milestone, you can actually flag 10 of your tasks as milestones, and this will be shown separately in the dashboard, which we'll look into soon. You can provide a description of your task. You can also control when the task will begin. So in this case, I've said the first task preferred start date is January 1st. So the template will not try to schedule this task before 1st Jan. It'll only begin from 1st Jan or after. And the task preferred end date is more for measuring whether you're completing a task on time. So in this case, I've said I want to complete this task by the 10th of February. If we are able to do that, then it's completion on time. But if the task will not be completing by 10th February, then the dashboard will show that it's not completing on time. The next 2 fields are predecessors. So the task can be dependent on other tasks. So in this case, task number 2 is dependent on task 1, task number 3 is dependent on task 2, and so on. So this is providing the dependencies between the tasks, and the template can handle up to 2 predecessors for each task. The next one is task priority. This is useful when you are having multiple tasks and they are assigned to the same resource. Then which one will the resource do first? And you can control that by providing a task priority. A lower number means higher priority and the task will be done first. Now let's go to the next sheet where we actually track the actuals, and this is where you enter the actual work done by each resource for each task. In this case, for example, I've said task ID 1 was worked by the resource on these dates and number of hours completed on each day, and the cost will be automatically calculated. And you can continue entering more and more information here every day as more work is being done. That's all you have to do to enter actual. That's part of the managing the project after the project begins. Very simple, very easy data entry. Now let's go and look into the dashboard. And this is the summary of the project. And at the top left, you have the project plan summary, which is whether the project will complete or not, how many hours, what's the cost, the start and end date, how many incomplete tasks. Because we are completing the project, there'll be 0. And what's the utilization rate of the resources? So it's 24%. And there are some messages on how many tasks are delayed at the start due to resource availability. This is helpful because it just says if you reassign the task to some other resources, you can probably finish this project sooner. And this is, again, very good feedback to the project planner so that they can tweak the resource assignment to improve the completion of the project. And as I mentioned, it also says number of tasks that do not complete by their preferred end dates. So this is where the preferred end date that we talked about earlier comes in, and you can see whether you are having some task where you're not completing by your preferred end dates. In such cases, you may want to go back and try to see if you want to reassign the resources or maybe change your preferred end date so that you're meeting your expectations. The last thing is number of tasks where the actual work is greater than the planned duration. In cases where you've entered the actual work to be greater than the plan, then this will highlight it. Most likely it will be an error on your part so that you can go back and check whether the actual work is correctly entered or not. So these are the messages that you get, and you have a burn down chart. And I have chosen the snapshot date to be 1st January 2015, which is the beginning of the project. But I can easily change this to, let's say, at January 22nd, what would my project look like? And you see that everything updated instantly. So now we are 22nd January. We have completed the work until this time, and then there is so much work still remaining to be done. But now we have a problem because as of where we are on 22nd January, we're not going to complete this project because we haven't done enough work until 22nd January. This template allows you to go back in time easily. For example, if I want to see what was my status at the beginning of the project, you can see that we were supposed to complete the project, but based on the actual work that has been done, which is here until 22nd of January, we will not complete the project. So we have not done enough work until now. And so let me go back here and update everything, and this will update. The burn down chart gets updated, and also as I scroll down I will see a timeline. So the timeline indicates, again here the green would be what is actually completed, and then the blue is in the future. So the timeline updates. In addition, you can see that the completion percentage so far is 10%. So we've completed 10% of the work as of January 22nd. How many hours, how many tasks have been completed, what's the cost that we have incurred so far, all of those details would update instantly. The milestones, which I talked about earlier, are shown here, and then what percentage is the completion for each milestone. Finally, the remaining hours that we still have to complete the work for, how many tasks we still have to complete, and what's the cost associated with that. All of that readily in a single page for you. As we scroll to the right, we will see the resource related metrics. These are summary level metrics around each resource, hours that have been available, hours we have utilized, utilization rate, and also actual hours that they worked on, actual utilization rate, and so on. And the chart below will actually compare the what was the plan overall utilization rate versus what has happened so far, and you can compare them too. So this is available in the dashboard, and as I mentioned, these things get updated automatically. Finally, if you don't want to come and type in every time the custom date where you can look at the snapshot, there is the by default today will be selected in the template, which automatically will use today's date, your computer's today's date, as the snapshot date. And this is what I would recommend so that you don't have to come in and change it. But when you want to try to go back in time and say, what was the plan looking like a week ago, then you can easily come and change this to custom date, and you can type in the date that you prefer here. It's very, very easy. Now let's go to the task report sheet. This is a report, as the name indicates. Every task is shown here, and all the information about each task is also shown here. And this is helpful if you want to look at all the details for at a task level and you want to see them all at the same time. This is a great view. The Gantt sheet is very interactive, where you can actually see that we have all the tasks here, and we have the Gantt chart available on the right. And also there is visual indication that these two tasks are indicated in red borders, which means that they will not complete. And this Gantt chart can also be controlled by looking at only one resource at a time. So I'm going to choose resource, and I can choose one of the resource names, and then my Gantt chart will update. Finally, there is also the input control on when you want the Gantt chart to begin. In this case, I've typed in 1 January, but you can also type in your own date. Now let me switch this back to all tasks, and now we will see all the tasks. And I am going to, the default is the daily view, but I can also choose weekly, and then now you see that it gets updated weekly, and I can see everything in there. And also I can do monthly, and there you go, monthly updates. When you choose daily, you have a lot more colors on the Gantt chart. Let me just explain. Green would be the working days, and then where actually work was done. Company holidays would be the orange, where it was a company holiday, as you indicated in the settings sheet. The gray color would be the company weekends, and the light red color would be the days when the resource was not available, maybe due to personal leave, or it may be because the resource doesn't work on every Saturday. So then that will be highlighted in the light red color. And finally, the task delayed time. And this is where the task was ready to be worked on, but it hasn't started yet. So it can clearly indicate to you visually whether there was any delay in beginning a specific task. And we can also see that in the task report, for example, delay in start. And in this example, there hasn't been any delay, so we don't see any of it. But if there is any delay, it'll show up in the task report and also in the Gantt chart. So that's how flexible and easy it is to work with this Gantt chart. It'll show 50 tasks at a time, but if you want to scroll down further, you can use the scroll bars to go to the next set of tasks. And finally, the help sheet has definitions of some of the terms used in the template and also some instructions. So definitely encourage you to look into these. Most of your questions should be answered by this. And if there are still any questions, you can go back to injara.com, the product page for the project manager Excel template, and then leave me a comment or a message or email me, and I'll get back to you. So just to summarize, this is a project manager Excel template which you can use to plan your project and also manage it to completion for any project up to 200 tasks and over a period of 12 months. And this is a much simplified framework of project management, and it's easy to use. It's simple data entry. It automatically schedules tasks for you, and that saves you a lot of time. And as I indicated, there are lots of visual feedback which will instantly provide you information on how to improve your project, whether it means highlighting tasks that will not complete or tasks that will not complete on time or resources not utilized properly, or all these are available to you instantly. The dashboard and custom Gantt charts are available for you readily to be shared. And as I mentioned, cost management and resource management are included in this template. And all of this is in your familiar tool, Microsoft Excel, for you. So there's no extra training necessary. You can use it, you can extend it if you wish. This template is available from inzara.com, and if there are any questions, please leave me an email at inzara@gmail.com, or leave me a message on inzara.com contact form, or leave me a comment in the product page of Project Manager Excel template. Thank you very much for watching the video.